Hello, time for another Man in Gray book review. Today's book is The Little Book of Holiday Law by Ursula Fury Perry, published in 2013 by American Bar Association, the American Bar Association. And it's 132 pages. This book is divided into 12 chapters, one for each month of the year, and each chapter deals with some aspect of American law and holidays. The opening chapter deals with a question of Christmas displays on public property, like courthouses and things like that. Is it legal to have a nativity scene or a crush or manger scene on public property, or does that violate the Establishment Clause, of religion? Well, the Supreme Court has ruled that you can have a manger scene on public property as long as it's not by itself. There has to be other non-religious things around it, like snowmen, Christmas trees, Santa, perhaps even minions. As long as it's part of a general holiday display, it's okay. But if you have a nativity scene by itself with nothing else around it, that would be promoting a religion and breaking the Establishment Clause. So there's a deal on that. There's also a chapter on divorced spouses who have kids and the custody issue. Who has custody rights during holidays? Do you have to alternate Christmases and Thanksgivings, or what are the legal requirements for the non-custodial parent during holidays? And it turns out to be very complicated. There's also a chapter on business contract deadlines. If you have a contract and there's a deadline, but the deadline falls on a holiday, does that still count, or do you get an extra day? For example, in terms of the government, usually income tax deadline day is April 15th in the United States. But if April 15th falls on a holiday, which it does sometimes, you get an extra day. Or if it's on a weekend, you get an extra 2 days. So there's that question. Then there's an amusing chapter on Halloween pranks, and what are the legal ramifications if some Halloween prank causes damage. And then there's a more serious section on sex offenders and Halloween. Is it legal for registered sex offenders to be required to leave their home and assemble at a certain place on Halloween so that they're not out, so that trick-or-treaters won't go to their house? Can you legally do that if someone is a registered sex offender? So there's a chapter on that. There's also a long chapter on the history of blue laws. And if you don't know what blue laws are, those are laws that require businesses to close on Sundays. And at one point, almost every state had that kind of requirement, but now there aren't very many that still do. And the number of businesses required to close is actually quite small. But at one point, almost the entire economy shut down on Sundays. I think restaurants could stay open and gas stations, and that's about it. So it goes over that. And then the last chapter is about holiday parties and business liabilities. If you're throwing a Christmas party for your company and somebody gets drunk and drives home and causes a wreck, are you liable for that? If someone is assaulted during a Halloween party or a Christmas party or something, how liable is the business for that? So it's an interesting book that deals with a lot of questions a lot of people don't think about that involve holidays. There's also a question that just was resolved last year about Good Friday, and whether, or I don't think it was Good Friday. I think it was a Jewish holiday. Whether a postal worker for the U.S. Post Office was required to work on a particular Jewish holiday or not, and whether he could be compensated. And so it was a very complicated question. So there's all kinds of issues like this that people don't think about that deal with holidays. So if you're interested in law and you want to read this, it's a very, it sounds like it's a dry subject, but it's done in a very amusing way. And there's little tidbits of information in here, like that tells the story you're probably familiar with, that John Adams and Thomas Jefferson both died on the 4th of July, the 50th anniversary of the 4th of July, which, of course, is a holiday. So if you're interested in holidays and the legal profession, this is a lighthearted book that looks at law and holidays in the United States. The book is The Little Book of Holiday Law. The author is Ursula Fury Perry. This has been another Man in Gray book review. Thanks for watching.